Ever feel like some of your goals are just kind of perpetually out of reach?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like you're chasing after them, but never really getting there?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going deep on this, diving right into the heart of James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Okay.
We're using this super detailed breakdown you gave us.
Right.
And our mission here is to really pull out the practical stuff, the real world tools from this book.
Yeah.
The kind of insights that actually help us move the needle on those goals by focusing on the tiniest, most consistent changes we can make.
Love it.
But we're not just going to like rehash the book.
No.
We're going to figure out how these principles actually work in the messy reality of, well, you know, just everyday life.
Exactly. I mean, the thing that really grabs you about this book is the idea that, you know, you don't need these massive efforts to get massive transformation.
Oh.
It's more about like harnessing the power of those small incremental improvements over time. Kind of like cultivating that consistent dedication, that steady rhythm.
Got it.
Instead of relying on those like bursts of intense motivation that, let's be honest, we all know they fade.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They totally do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about small habits.
Sure.
I mean, the summary we've got really highlights how these seemingly insignificant actions can compound over time and create huge change.
Right.
It's that whole like dedication with constancy thing.
Dedication with constancy, yep.
Winning out over intensity.
Yeah.
Which comes and goes.
Exactly.
So how do we even start making a habit small enough to actually stick with it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
The summary gives us some great starting points, though.
Okay, good.
Instead of saying, I want to read more, maybe you just start by reading 1 page a day.
1 page a day, okay.
Or instead of, I need to exercise regularly, it's committing to, like, a 5-minute walk.
5 minutes.
Yeah. The real key here is making that initial commitment so ridiculously easy that you literally can't say no.
So you can't make an excuse.
Exactly. It's about lowering that, you know, that activation energy for the habit.
The barrier to entry.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay, so that's where compound growth comes in.
Yeah.
The 1% rule, as our summary calls it.
Yep.
This idea that getting just 1% better each day, which seems so tiny in the moment,
negligible,
leads to big results.
Huge results.
Down the line.
Massive, yeah.
Like a snowball effect.
Absolutely. Think about it. Like, imagine you're trying to save money.
Okay, yeah.
Saving $1 a day, it doesn't feel like much.
No, not at all.
But over a year, that's $365.
Right, that's true.
It's the same with habits. Those small, consistent improvements, they build up in ways we don't even realize. It's not about instant gratification. It's about playing the long game.
Playing the long game, I like that. Okay, now the summary also talked about shifting our focus from just having goals to actually building systems.
Yeah, that's a critical distinction.
It is.
Super important.
So tell me, break down why focusing on the process is so important.
Sure, think about it like this. Everyone, and I mean everyone, might have a goal to write a novel.
Right.
But the person who actually finishes that novel, they're the one who probably has a system in place.
Oh, interesting.
Like writing 500 words a day.
Okay.
The goal is the outcome you want, but the system is the engine that actually gets you there.
Makes sense.
The summary really nails it with that example.
So if your goal is to eat healthier, the system isn't just eat healthy. It's more like planning your meals for the week.
Yes.
Having healthy snacks ready.
Exactly. And the cool thing about systems is that they give you something concrete to work with right now in this moment. You can track if you stuck to your meal plan, if you hit your daily word count. This gives you instant feedback and lets you tweak things if they're not working. It's less about these, you know, lofty aspirations and more about taking action, something you can actually control.
Concrete steps,
Exactly.
So it's like the goal is the direction, but the system is the map in the car.
The map and the car, yeah, I like that.
Okay, the summary then went into this idea of building habits based on identity.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Which I thought was so interesting.
Yes.
It's not just about what you do, but who you believe you are.
This is where habits get real. They stick.
Okay.
The summary says that lasting change comes from shifting how you see yourself, fundamentally.
Oh, wow.
It's about identifying with the kind of person who naturally does that habit.
Okay, so instead of saying, I want to be someone who exercises, the shift is to see yourself as, an active person or
Absolutely.
someone who values their health.
Exactly, precisely.
Yeah.
When your habits are an expression of who you are,
Right.
they're not just these tasks you got to force yourself to do.
Gotcha.
They become a part of you.
Sure.
Someone who sees themselves as a writer,
Yeah.
they don't need constant motivation to write.
Mhm.
It's just what they do.
It's in their nature.
It's who they are, yeah.
Okay, so we've got the power of small habits, focusing on systems,
Yeah.
and this identity-based approach.
Right.
Now, the summary gets into the 4 laws of behavior change.
Okay.
Let's start with the first one.
Okay, shoot.
Cue.
Cue, yeah.
What's the key takeaway here for building good habits?
The cue is like the trigger.
Uh-huh.
It kicks off the behavior.
Right?
The summary connects this to project management, talking about things like, automated alerts or milestones on a Gantt chart.
Okay.
But think about it more broadly.
Okay.
If you want to drink more water,
Yeah.
keep a water bottle right there on your desk.
Oh, right in front of you.
Yep, that visual cue makes it way more likely you'll actually grab it and drink.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, so make the cues obvious,
obvious and present. Yeah.
present. Then we've got craving,
I crave.
that motivational force behind habits.
Yeah, that's the engine.
So how do we use cravings to build good habits?
Well, the summary talks about how satisfying it is to check off tasks on a Gantt chart
Right, yeah.
and how that can motivate teams.
Makes you feel good.
For sure. But think about how you can make a habit more attractive. Like, let's say you want to learn something new.
Okay.
Join an online community. Find other learners who are into the same thing.
So you're not alone.
Right. That connection, that shared progress,
Yeah.
it can really boost your desire to stick with it.
Okay, so connect with people, find that shared excitement.
Exactly. It's about associating positive feelings and experiences with the habit itself.
Got it. The third law is response,
Okay.
actually doing the habit.
Right. Putting it into action.
What's the key here to making good habits stick?
The secret sauce, making it easy.
Easy. Okay.
The summary uses the example of clear guidelines in a project, right?
Yeah.
Making tasks easier to follow.
Makes sense.
Same goes for personal habits. Break them down into tiny steps.
Tiny, tiny steps.
You want to start meditating.
Yeah.
Start with 1 minute a day.
1 minute. Okay.
Make that initial step so simple that it takes almost no effort.
So simple, you can't say no.
You got it.
Okay, make it frictionless. And finally, reward.
Ah, the good stuff.
The positive feedback that makes us want to keep going.
Right, the fuel for the habit loop.
How do we make sure that reward is actually effective?
It needs to be instant.
Instant. Okay.
And it needs to feel good.
Feel good, all right.
The summary uses project milestones as an example, right?
Yeah.
Reaching a milestone feels good.
It does.
Same thing with your habits. Figure out a way to reward yourself right after you do the thing you're trying to make a habit.
Immediately.
You went for that 5-minute walk? Yeah. Awesome. Listen to your favorite song.
Ooh, nice reward.
That instant positive feedback,
Yeah.
that's what strengthens the habit loop.
Okay, I'm liking this. So to recap the 4 laws, make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the response easy, and make the reward satisfying.
You nailed it.
All right. Now the summary moves into some practical ways to use these laws in real life.
Okay, cool.
Let's start with environment design. How can we use our surroundings to help us?
It's all about setting up your environment to make good habits easier and bad habits harder.
Okay.
The summary uses the example of the fridge.
Right.
If you want to eat healthy, put the healthy stuff right up front.
Easy to grab.
Make it the easiest choice. And the flip side,
Yeah.
you want to cut down on screen time, leave your phone in another room.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. You're basically designing your life to nudge you in the right direction.
I love that. Okay. Then there's habit stacking.
Oh yeah, habit stacking.
That sounds pretty clever.
It is. It's a sneaky way to build new habits.
Okay, tell me more.
You attach a new habit to one you already have. The classic formula is, after I current habit, I will new habit.
Okay.
Like the summary mentions meditating after brushing your teeth.
Right.
Think about your routines.
Yeah.
Maybe after you make your coffee in the morning, you spend 5 minutes planning your day.
Oh, that's good.
You're basically piggybacking on something you already do without thinking, which makes it easier to remember and integrate the new habit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Next up, the 2-minute rule.
Ah, yes, the 2-minute rule.
But it almost feels too simple to be effective.
But that's the beauty of it.
Okay.
The idea is you shrink any new habit down to something that takes less than 2 minutes to do.
2 minutes, all right.
You want to start writing? Commit to writing just one sentence.
One sentence way.
One exercise.
Yeah.
Do 2 push-ups.
Okay.
The summary's example of reading 1 page is perfect. The goal is to make starting so easy that you barely even resist.
You remove all the obstacles.
Exactly. It's about building that momentum, even if it's just a tiny push.
Just get going.
Exactly.
Then we have the importance of feedback loops.
Yes, feedback is crucial.
So how do these help us solidify those good habits?
Well, the summary points out that feeling you get after a workout, right?
Yeah, that good feeling.
That's immediate feedback, and it reinforces the behavior.
Makes you want to do it again.
Exactly. Tracking your progress is another powerful way to get feedback.
Okay.
Let's say you're trying to learn a new language.
Okay.
Use an app that shows your daily streak.
Oh, yeah, those are motivating.
Right. It gives you that visual reward, encourages you to keep going.
It's like, oh, look, I've done it this many days in a row.
Exactly. Seeing your progress makes you want to keep it up.
Totally. And lastly, the summary mentions the role of community.
Community, so important.
How does our social environment affect our habits?
Well, we're social creatures, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Our environment has a huge impact on us. The summary makes a great point. Surrounding yourself with people who have similar goals or who just embody the qualities you want to develop can be super powerful. It gives you support, encouragement, and accountability.
Yeah, like you're all in it together.
Exactly. You want to run regularly.
Yeah.
Join a running club.
Oh, good idea.
It makes it way more likely you'll stick with it.
So you're not out there alone.
Right. There's power in numbers.
All right. So bringing it all together, what's the big takeaway for you listening today?
The big takeaway is that real lasting change comes from those small, consistent actions.
Okay.
Driven by who you want to be.
Yeah.
And supported by systems and environments you design. It's not about those drastic overnight transformations. It's about the power of tiny daily habits that build up over time.
Small steps, big results.
Exactly.
And while understanding these principles is great, the summary also points out that using tools to visualize your progress,
yeah, totally.
like a habit tracker, can really help.
They can, because they make your progress real.
Yeah.
And they provide that feedback loop we talked about.
Right. You can see it happening.
Exactly. Which helps solidify those good habits.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So to leave you with something to think about, what's one super small habit you can start today based on everything we've talked about?
That's a good question.
What's the 2-minute version of that habit? How could you even slightly see yourself as someone who does that habit?
Yeah.
And what's one existing habit you could use to start habit stacking something new?
Great questions.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into atomic habits. Until next time.